Okay. Should be. All right, here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome into Locked On Tar Heels. Football got underway last night with a win in the post-Sam Howell era. But right now, we got to talk about this first of its kind UNC blue and white scrimmage that took place yesterday just before the game. Joining me, you know it, it's Carolina's in-game host and the six-man B Daht. He was courtside yesterday doing his thing like he always does. Nobody better to join me today to unpack it all than my man, Daht. Let's tune in. Let's do it right now.
You are Locked On Tar Heels, your daily podcast on the UNC Tar Heels, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Okay, everybody, welcome in. So glad you're here. Daht, what's going on, brother?
What's happening, brother?
Oh, man, we are just getting it going today. And goodness gracious. By the way, rocking the R. Lamar shirt today. Happy birthday to him yesterday. You know it. That was going on.
Was it R. Lamar's birthday yesterday?
Yes.
Jeez, I got to tell my boy happy birthday, man. Big shout out to R. Lamar, man. Huge. Does a lot of shirt and merchandising. His house here. I got my six man those for me. Isaac has his on. I saw Jawad Williams. He's part of the R. Lamar campaign. Puff Johnson is part of the R. Lamar movement. So, man, legendary in the graphics and the T-shirt and the wardrobe.
Yes. You know it. So let's get right into this. We had yesterday, it was the white team, the blue team. We'll talk some just specifics in a second. But first, the white team came away with a victory in this, 80-69. It was Armando Bacot with the tip in to send the team to victory. It was a game played to 80 points, so it's not timed specifically. That's how we're doing it. So from the folks at Inside Carolina, here's what we had for the stats breakdown. The white team, RJ Davis led all scorers, 24 points, 9 of 18 on field goals, 3 of 8 on threes. Armando Bacot, 19 points, 20 rebounds, just doing the absurd things that he always does. DeMarco Dunn chipping in 16 points. Love to see that. Puff Johnson with 8 and 5 rebounds. Justin McKoy had 6 points. Our man Duwe Farris had 4, and Creighton Lebo with 3. And then for the blue team, Caleb Love led the way with 22 points, 8 of 20 on field goals, including an insanely deep 3. Seth Trimble, 21 points. Wow, love to see that. Pete Nance, Tyler Nichol, some newcomers, both had 11. Dontrez chipped in 4. Wilcher had 2. And then our man Jackson Watkins, he was out there doing it. And then we'll talk more about this later, but no Leaky Black, no Jalen Washington playing yesterday. So we'll get into all the stats in the game itself in a minute, but let's talk about this event first, Daht. This is a first event. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, man. It was an NIL deal, man. I believe the sponsors were United Healthcare and Town Bank. We're thankful for those guys for putting this event together. It started around 1 o'clock, Isaac. 1 o'clock, gym. The guys sat at a table in the front, and they had all types of items signed by the Tar Heels. Everybody was lined up, and it was the guys were there sitting down for 2 hours signing every autograph. People came in. The shot with Caleb over Mark Williams. That was heavy in rotation. People that were getting shirts and shorts. And one guy came in with some dead stock Jordan 3s. Now, Isaac, I don't know how you do on the shoe game, but you know what I'm talking about. Some dead stock Jordan 3s, all white with on them, and got the entire team to sign it. I was just like, yo, like that is in wearing the Travis Scotts. So that lets you know how his shoe game is out there. Then we left from there and went to like a reception where the greet room there in the Smith Center, and all the guys were there, and that's when I got a chance to really kick it with Trevor, and it was dope because they're getting a second on a basketball. Like these are JP Tokato's parents. So you remember the athletic four-man that we had at Carolina. His brother Seth Trimble, Isaac just told you, he had 21 points yesterday. I'll tell you more of the episode. But it was just cool to just have that dynamic with the players who, you know, like they're not just guys that go play basketball. They have to do meet and greets. They have to kiss babies and shake hands. And, you know, Coach HD was there. I'll say awesome because as I told the audience that were there, really got to experience an exclusive event. None of the coaching staff from Carolina could be present during the scrimmage. No one that works with the program. My boss is on game day. None of the Smith Center during the scrimmage per NIL rules. Now, Isaac, in the Hills house, a couple days prior to the scrimmage, do you have any rules make it so that no staff could be at the scrimmage?
No. You
don't have a clue?
Oh, say it again. Sorry, it cut out for just a second. Do I have a clue why those rules were there?
I'm sorry. Yeah, prohibits the staff from being at the scrimmage. Do you know?
Yeah, well, it's got some things that, like, first off, everyone's still trying to figure out NIL and everything that's going on there. And so everyone's trying to figure out these rules, but it is a compliance thing where there just can't be this overlap of like, hey, we're having an officially sanctioned event with our coaches officially on board with that. And so since it's a paid event to the players, then it's kind of like coaching staff has to be hands off. Plus, part of that is with all the practice rules going on, and they can't officially get into all of that quite yet. And so that's some of the issues surrounding that as well.
Understood. Well, I appreciate that because I just didn't understand. But as far as money is concerned, I would like to assume that a nice payday was yesterday. The signatures and then the thousands that were there in the Smith Center for the scrimmage, a very successful NIL deal.
Yes. And I love this. I mean, this is the first event of this kind, like we said. I think this is one of those things where people probably, when we start thinking about NIL, we're just thinking about paying players. We're not thinking about events like this that we can now start getting for the first time. I love this. I mean, let's make this an annual thing. Every year we have a blue-eyed scrimmage in the lead up to the first football home game. Like, that's a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It made the energy so much more festive. I was in there on the fans. Who's going to the football game after this? And like more than 70% were just screaming like, yes, we're gonna be here. So it was just a very good vibe, man. And to lead straight to the football and just to be in that environment with the basketball team, like, awesome, man. It was a very good vibe yesterday. Yesterday truly was a great day to be a Tar Heel, no doubt about it,
man. Absolutely. And for $10, like, you can't do better than that, right? And this is the earliest public viewing of the Carolina basketball team the program has ever had.
Good.
How cool to kind of bridge the gap leading up to late night, which will be in mid-October. I mean, that's still 2 months away, but we got to see them yesterday. That's just, thank you, NIL, right? Like, this is awesome.
Absolutely. Value meals that cost more than $10. So to be able to see the back there from the Iron 5 minus Brady, and then the newcomers. Like, you can't beat that, Jack.
No. So with the coaches not able to be there, it's cool. Both teams were coached by former UNC players. On the blue team, we had Jawad Williams, who we've already talked about, and our man Easy Ed Davis. For the white team, Marcus Ginyard, along with Deion Thompson. Just national championships all over the place in this building. Our man Garrison Brooks was there on the sidelines. Remember, folks, he is a Tar Heel for life. Like it's good to be reminded of that. What was it like to have those guys right there, Dot?
It was awesome, man. And even don't forget Sterling was out there too, man. And it was awesome to see him, and just to see how Deion and Marcus Ginyard were with Wad, and Ed was sort of on the bench by himself. Ed really didn't have the coaching. So he sort of played the cut, but it was just great seeing those guys back home. We always talk about, and events like that really show. Like even to the football game, like the coaches Ed Davis and Deion, the guys came over to the football game. And just to the HBCU, what was it? The HBCU Classic, I believe it's called. Like, it was just all day from beginning to end for sure. But being around those guys is great because Garrison gets to come home and he's saying, wow. I remember one time in the scrimmage for a long time, and Garrison was like, dang, they going to 80? They might have to go to 60. You're talking a whole lot of tough talk over here. I remember you playing in these blue-white scrimmages, and that's sitting over court, so it's a fun vantage point after they've left, as we can say, I guess, and get to come back home. So it's always fun, man.
Yes. Gosh, love that. So on a personal note, you're there doing what you usually do as the in-game arena host, but a little bit different. You get to provide like in-game running commentary over the PA. So what was that like to just get to do that and almost provide it's almost like at Rucker Park or something where we just got commentary going on the whole time?
It was normal for me. My experience on PA announcement. I've been doing this since 2004, and I call for Winston-Salem State University as it pertains to Rucker type games. Chris Paul brought a all-star game during our homecoming one year. I want to say it was 2011, and because I was the PA announcer for Winston-Salem State basketball, and they were doing it. I got the privilege of being the PA announcer for this game, and like the top at that time were there. Everyone was in the gym. LeBron, Carmelo, Kyrie, Steph. Before he person that wasn't there was Kobe Bryant. Like D Wade was there. Everybody doing the PA for basketball games, especially this type style, is very love being able to bring that energy because, of course, I am professional as PAs, have some fun, like you just mentioned, that Rucker Park type vibe. So it was good being able to just have the ball saying, RJ, get a fan something. What the fans want something, get a fan something, RJ, bang, and then shoot a shot that you like, what? And makes it. And the crowd goes coming down on a fast break, and me screaming out, no layups, we want a dunk. No layups, we want bolts out of it. Fun stuff like that. Like I'm able to put, he told me after the game, he said, you put the battery in everybody's back. I said, with you on the mic, I'll be out here shooting from half court. But it's true, man. Like I give him some input. He was out there one time. He hit a couple threes, and I start calling him hot hand. Cool, a little busy, and I think he missed every shot after that. But it was the confidence, Isaac. It was the confidence. Yeah, you did. So it was fun, man. It was a real light-hearted event. We're going to 80. We're shooting one free throw. Very, very. We had ACC referees there, same guys that I see during the season. Amazing for me. One of my favorite parts was the crowd is getting settled in. I walk back and I'm walking across the floor to the scorer's table just now, but I have of course, I have my crown on, and the crowd just starts cheering. And I'm thinking, like, maybe Armando or somebody has come out behind me. No, they're cheering. So when the sixth man walks out on the floor, it's time to tee up. That we have set that precedence. I love the fact that that standard has been set when we're in the Smith Center and when I walk out on that floor, it's go time.
It's go time. You know? Yes. That's awesome. And I'm hearing from a couple people in the chat, they're having some trouble with Daht's audio, and we apologize for that. We hope, hopefully that'll clean up a little bit, but
what's wrong with the audio?
The folks are saying it's cutting out a little bit.
So I'm on my iPad, my phone, and see if that works better.
Yeah, do it. I'll just keep things going for a minute, and Daht, you just hop right back in. So
I'll be right back.
Yes, sir. Love it. So as Daht's going to check out and come right back in, for those who might just be tuning in a little bit late, let me just run you back through some of the stats from yesterday. RJ Davis led the way, 24 points on 9 of 18 shooting, including 3 of 8 from deep. He was 3 of 4 on free throws. For those who were either in the building or you've watched back from the highlights that might be on YouTube, the dude was everywhere yesterday, doing all sorts of stuff, and love what RJ was bringing to that game. All right, looks like Daht is back in. Let's see if we've got a little bit of a better connection here. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
This is live production, folks. This is what's happening.
Yeah, you're getting it in 3D. All right, boom. All right, are we good?
Yes, sir. All right, folks. Yeah, I think so. Folks, let us know in the chat as we're going if you can hear Daht a little bit better now. And it's perfect timing because we just want to move in now to talking about the game itself, the players. And so I want to start by asking you this. Let's just start at the top. Who for you was the MVP of the game yesterday?
RJ.
No hesitation there. Why so?
He's just different this year, Isaac. And are you able to hear me a little bit better?
It is. I hear it much better on my end. Folks that are checking in, let us know on your end if you're hearing better.
Okay. But RJ, no question, man. This guy, you can tell everybody's been working in, different things that they've worked on, and we'll get to different players. But RJ, as it pertains to his decision making, being able to get to the rack at ease, 426 points, and I don't even yes, I know he scored at a high clip, but he scored so many points and you don't even really realize it. He is super confident this season, and not just confident in his skill set, but confident in the team and the show. That's what I really like about RJ. RJ likes to hit a shot and then look at the cross, or he's coming down the sideline, he's talking trash to B-Rob, and B-Rob you have some exclusive footage, Isaac. Reach out to Brandon Robinson because he has filming RJ and he's talking to RJ as RJ's coming up the floor and RJ's telling him what they're doing, and he'll come down and look at the camera I told you, it's that type of confidence. RJ competing for the Bob Cousy Award this year, at that point guard. Really see that, man. And the best thing about this team is everybody knows that when we go in every arena, they're going to want to beat us. Just talking to RJ, and he was just saying how unpredictable. He says you don't know if he's going to come out and drop dimes. Magic Johnson. You don't know if what I'm saying. You really don't know what he's gonna do from possession to possession. I really think that started that Cameron game in Duke. I just remember all last season, but that Cameron game, he just was different. I remember him hitting that going to halftime and just saying, because I was out of the country, and I just remember looking at my partner Frank saying, different tonight. And from that game to what I saw yesterday, player, I I would like to say he's made one of the biggest strides from last season. Not just his gameplay, but his confidence. RJ was definitely MVP yesterday.
I love it. I love it. My probably my favorite was he got a pass on the left wing and Trimble was out on him. He pump faked him, got him up in the air, drove lane. Caleb crashed in on him from the right side, and he had this like inverted behind the back dribble between his legs, got to the hoop, and then threw it out of bounds. I think he was expecting Puff to cut baseline or something.
Yes.
But it was like he duped both Trimble and Caleb. I mean, they were just left sitting there wondering where RJ was at. I'm just like, bro, come on. Like, this is good.
His mess ups could possibly. I remember one basket he made where his body was falling left, and it's like, how did you make that bucket, dude? Like, it's like he can put the ball in any angle. RJ is definitely going to be one to watch this season for sure.
Love that. Love that. So another question I want to ask you is who, this is when the lights really are coming on for the first time. You just don't often know until the lights come on what's going to happen. So who surprised you based on what you expected from them?
Based on what I expected, but based on the tale of tape, DeMarco Dunn was the most outstanding yesterday. And what was fun, we're doing the signing during the 1 to 3 period that I was talking about earlier. I don't know if y'all heard that. From 1 to 3, they had an autograph signing for fans, and the players were all at the front. And I was sitting with a gentleman, and we were just talking, just chopping it up. And I knew that he had to be a player because he was in the section with me. And so I'm like, I'm sorry, bro. Who are you? DeMarco's dad. And it's funny how when someone says they're a parent, say that you can see their face transition into that player. And I'm like, dude, you're definitely DeMarco's dad. It's unreal. And, he and I were talking. He was such a dad. I know DeMarco better get in that gym and get on that floor. That's how he's talking, and it was fun to see DeMarco perform so well. And the things that impressed me about him was he played his own pace, and I really liked his pace. I liked when he got in the lane and got to his specific spot. You can definitely tell it in the offseason. And after the game, we had like maybe 2 hours to kill and went over to the football game. And for those 2 hours, DeMarco in the back lot and just talked. I have no clue what they were talking about, but just walking around, just having conversation, and it was just cool to see that dynamic of father, just seeing the support system he has in that regard. But as it pertains to the floor, it was also glimpses of what could possibly be from his skill set for sure. And here's a story that his dad told me. Football. DeMarco played football and got hit so hard he got a concussion. And after that, DeMarco said, and he switched to basketball, and it's been bad to actually play football. So that was just some little fun conversations that I had with the fam.
Yeah. Speaking of which, man, thoughts and prayers to Tony Grimes today. Looked like he might have gotten a concussion last night early in the football game, and hopefully we will see him back this weekend at App State in Boone, North Carolina. Yeah, man, DeMarco, man, had a dunk. He's showing some athleticism that I don't even think I thought he had. And a lot of the offseason, it's been like, obviously, RJ and Caleb are the starters, but, man, having Seth Trimble as a legit solid backup to them to spell both RJ and Caleb. But if both Seth and DeMarco can provide some of those really good backup minutes where there's not a drop-off in production, I think that just allows both RJ and Caleb to be all the more efficient when they are on the court. Really excited to see the possibilities there. Don, let's talk about the opposite side of that. Is there anybody that's like, man, I'm excited, but, man, there's just some work still to be done there? Anybody like that stuck out to you yesterday?
I guess I would say this without not trying to be a knock, but I would say Will Shaver.
Yeah.
things that I saw from Will yesterday is like he knows exactly where he's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm not a coach. I'm not a trainer. I'm just a six man. So please take this with a grain of salt. More agile if he trimmed down a little bit. What I like about Will is his motor. You can tell he wants to be there. And I think when it all finally clicks for him, once he knows exactly on this team, I mean, he's behind Mondo. He's behind Pete. That type vibe. But once how to accurately put his strength and his skill set with this team, I think Will's going to be real fun to watch. But again, I think right now he's just sort of trying to fill it out and plays in the system and in the offense. But I like Will. I really do. And
yeah, for sure. Speaking of Will, I think we know mostly what we're getting from the returners, but we do have several newcomers in addition to Will. There's obviously the transfer in Pete Nance, and then the three other freshmen. So let's start with Pete Nance. What did you learn about him yesterday?
He's a leader. He's a leader, Isaac. Like, I wrote some things down about Pete because it was shocking to me. Second half, they were getting beat 46-38, and Pete on the floor. And mind you, Pete's got Caleb. He's got Tread on the team last year. This is his first team. This is his first time in front of Carolina fans. He's the one that's telling the guys, huddle up, and he's barking at them on the floor. Different, we're gonna do the ice. And I was just sitting there like, wow, man. And this is no knock. And Caleb isn't grabbing everybody around doing that at that moment. Not saying that Caleb is a lead, but in that moment to see Pete do it, the newcomer, that spoke volumes. Now, mind you, the white team went on an 11-0 run. Listen to Pete, but what I'm saying is Pete had the confidence to give him some direction, and that was just cool to me. After the game, I actually told Pete, I was like, dude, like the ball wasn't necessarily, he couldn't really get off offensively like I saw him out there in front of the fans.
Yeah, but
he was still active on the boards. He's gonna spell every rebound, even though he got 20 of them. He doesn't have to get every rebound. He doesn't have to block every shot. One taller than him that can actually aid in that, and I think that's gonna bode well for what we see. I really like Pete though, man. He's a humble guy. His foot game is crazy. He had some God, I wish they were. What did he have on his feet? Some he could put it in the comments in the description or something. I can't remember what he had on, but his foot game was crazy. He was there with us for the football game and stuff. Like, it was just cool. Like, Pete, and I think he's going to be very, very helpful for this team. Now, we'll say this: maybe three threes, and missed all of them.
I think he was 0 for 4. Yep.
0 for 4. And see, but again, they were right there, But I just want people to, because I know comparison thing. I want the Carolina family to give Pete a fair. Him be Pete Nance. Don't expect him to be Brady 2.0. Don't expect Johnson 2.0. Let him be Pete Nance 1.0, and I think we'll enjoy him as a Carolina fan.
That's really well said, Dot. Like, he's just not going to hit threes at the same rate, at the same level Brady did. Brady had the second most threes in a single season in Carolina history behind Justin Jackson. I mean, it's just like he's not going to replicate that. And better days are ahead. He's going to hit threes. Like, don't mistake that. But I think what you just said there is really well said. Let him be Pete Nance. Don't try to force him into being somebody he's not, and it's going to be a great season. It just might look a little bit different than how we went about it last year with Brady. let's talk about the other newcomers. We've already talked about Will Shaver a little bit. And then we've also got Seth Trimble pouring in 21 points yesterday, and then Tyler Nichol with 11. Let's start with Trimble, and then we'll go to Tyler Nichol.
Seth Trimble is probably of the new guys. Like I love Seth, but it's because I love his family. He's a friend of mine. But just seeing Seth, I told y'all from the beginning, Seth has his athleticism, but he has the pace and the control of a Joel Berry. Perimeter to the same clip that senior Joel Berry could, freshman Joel Berry, and how he shot from the perimeter. But as it pertains to an athletic point, Seth Trimble can't do. To the point where one time Mondo goes up for a dunk, and who challenges him at the rim and blocks it? Seth Trimble, the smallest guy on the floor. Maybe like he's just unreal, man. And I love the thing that I love about him the most is if he makes a mistake, he tries to throw a lob and goes out of bounds or something. The first thing he says is, "What did I do wrong? Were you not ready for that lob?" And the main thing that comes to my mind is they had during the summer for some campers, and Mondo and the same team, and Seth went to throw a lob to Mondo, and Mondo didn't even go for it. Watched it go out of bounds and came back up the court.
Yeah.
And Seth, like, was it an errant pass? Was it a bad pass? Like he was really confused. And I remember RJ sort of grabbed him and whispered some words to him as they went up the court. At that moment, I felt like it was because Mondo wasn't 100%. Because if he comes down and messes up his ankle, oh gosh, right? That's just what I thought. Exactly what happened. RJ told him, like, listen, Mondo ain't 100%. That was a good pass in the game. I don't want to, it's that type thing. And just being around those guys, just seeing the camaraderie that they have with one another, it's so dope to watch. I remember last of the women's team and just how together they were, social media, just always together like in a pack whenever you would see them. And boys weren't that, because clearly they were that as far as they got last season, right? I just wasn't able to witness it like I was yesterday, man. Like, these guys will go to war. Like there is a big brother, little brother hierarchy, but the little brothers respect the big brother, little brothers. We're gonna have a great season, man. Like barring injury, we should definitely be in Houston this year.
Yes, barring. I posted something on Twitter this summer. I realized that RJ and Caleb have both played in every game in their first 2 seasons, and people were lighting me up like, you better knock on every piece of wood you can find in your house. Like I was roasted for that one. But seriously, like we have had great fortune with both of those guys, and hopefully that'll continue. Unfortunately, the injury bug did catch us in the national championship game last year. And like you said, hopefully that will not be a thing. Let's say a little bit about Tyler Nichol as well. I know from people who have checked in on him already, we understand, man, the defense it's not there yet, but the man is a walking bucket and can fill it up. What did you see from him yesterday?
Man, I love Tyler. He can fill it up. Yes, he is invited to the cookout. No, you do not think that's his voice with his
yes.
To the point where one of the signature line, they asked him yesterday. I put this on my IG story. They asked him yesterday, "Is your rap album gonna drop?" Because he just sounds like a rapper. He sounds like Chief Keef. I don't know. It's just he sounds super urban. He's got this deep pad, and we can do it. We can get it. That's how Tyler Nichol talk, and he got these tats, and he goes drop. Super cool dude, man.
He is.
The football game, I got to travel over with them, and I was actually with McKoy and Jalen Washington and Wilcher, and just being able to just chop it up with him, man. he is going to have to work, to see the floor, because you're not going to see the floor if you're allowed. But can the guy play? Absolutely. Is he? I'm talking nice stature. He's got full control of his body. He can hit off-balance shot. You clearly didn't read your scout report, because he's definitely going to knock that shot down 80% of the time, man. And I look forward to seeing how he progresses over the next couple of years for sure.
Yes, absolutely, man. And I'm with you. Just a good dude. We did an interview earlier this summer. If you haven't watched it yet, those of you tuning in, go back, check it out. It's on the YouTube page on the interviews playlist, and make sure you see that. But like you said, Tyler's just a good dude. Best phrase I've heard in weeks. He's invited to the cookout.
Absolutely.
Dude, I know exactly what you mean when you say that too. Like, no explanation needed. Oh gosh, that's good, Daht. I love it. So now the freshman we haven't talked about yet is Jalen Washington. He didn't play yesterday. He's still recovering fully from injuries in high school. And the projection is that we expect him to be playing, but it's going to be a slow process. He's going to have to work his way back. No reason to get him out in this scrimmage playing. But the one people are asking a lot about and wondering about is Leaky wasn't out there playing yesterday either. And I know you don't want to say too much, because you don't want to give away the company secrets and stuff like that. But Daht, what can you say to us about why Leaky wasn't playing yesterday?
Leaky is like on sort of like a load management type deal at this point. You got to remember, what's strange is Leaky does not like this stat. Isaac might have let us know that after this season, there will not be a Tar Heel player jersey more times than Leaky Black.
That's right.
And Leaky Black does not. I told him yesterday, I was like, why don't you like that? And he was like, dude, that means I've been here forever. if you were at NC State forever, it might suck. But you've been a 5-year damn near starter for Carolina, dude. Nobody else will ever top that. Like, you have a record that you're the Iron Man of Carolina. He just doesn't view it that way. And I want him to be comfortable with the fact that, like, yes, he could have left last year, and we'd have been pissed. The fact that he's here, I give him so much love, man. Like, he's the OG. He's grandpa. He is grandpapa team, man. And, like, we're excited to have Leak out there. But again, with all that being said, he had a lot of, 4 strong years on those legs. So any type of, I think they're going to do that. They don't want to put him in a situation where, injured on some fluke foolishness his last year. You know what I mean? So
that's right.
I think it's more that. I don't think he's injured. Like, I'm seeing him walk around and run around and things of that nature. So he's participating in. So I don't think it's an injury that fans need to be worried about. I really just think it's management for Lee.
Yep. And that makes a ton of sense. If folks remember back to his freshman year, he had a really bad foot injury. I believe it was against Georgia Tech, put him basically out of commission the rest of that year. And man, I get that. I'm 38 years old. I'm an old man, and my back hurts right now just sitting here on this couch. And so it would be fun to have him out there for a scrimmage, but I'd rather save it for the hopefully 40 games that 40 games North Carolina is going to play this year. And so love that. Speaking of injuries, kind of coming back from it, does it seem like Mondo is showing any lingering issues from his ankle injury at the end of the season?
You talking about 19 points and 20 rebounds? No, Mondo's fine. Mondo is fine.
Enough said about that.
Man. He's definitely going to average a double again, like, just because he's a menace and he knows what he. Mondo's out there shooting threes. Isaac.
He hit one yesterday.
And I'm shooting confident though, like setting the play, like calling the play for him to get the pick so that he can do the puck. I like the confidence from Mondo. I do. And look, and let me just tell you, Mondo will want me to share this, but I'm gonna share it anyway. He shouldn't have told me. I'm sharing it right here. Isaac Schade on Locked On Tar Heels. Dig it.
Let's go.
Mondo is so serious that he isn't even in Outer Banks episodes as he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be in a bigger role in Outer Banks, but because of the season, he has to be here for practices and things of that nature. It was so that he could not do it. And I just want to just say that that's a testament to the dedication of the national champion. And that's on the boys' side and the women's side. Like Deja Kelly, like the West Coast, East Coast, she's down in Texas doing camp. But every time there's something going on around, she's there. She was at the scrimmage yesterday with the team. All of them like that. They're being successful on the NIL deal side, but still authority is a national championship on the women's side and the men's side, and also that takes and the support of other organizations by going to the football games, the top student athletes. And I just want to say salute to Armando Bacot, salute to Deja Kelly, and everybody thinks that nature too. But those two, like, they're top tier right now, and to still be able to be as part of that's a lot, man. It's a lot. Yeah,
and absolutely. And I feel like I've seen folks being like, "What's Armando doing? Going to film stuff? He clearly doesn't care about basketball." Shut your freaking mouths! I don't want to hear that noise. Get out of here with that. So, Daht, we've got some great questions that have come in on the chat. Some questions folks have sent me. I'd love to get to those. But first, is there anything else you want to say from our end? Back from the game yesterday, stuff that stood out to you? Mondo's vicious dunk over Will Shaver, just running downhill like a running back. I mean, like Omari in Hampton was doing last night. Like the dude.
Yeah. That part. Down on my notes here. Seth is athletic. Down. The Caleb dunk that sent the people into a frenzy. I'm gonna tell you who was a spark yesterday. Duwe Farris. Listen, Duwe came off the bench and got 4 quick crazy.
Speaking of which, let me quick plug here. All off season, Coach Pat Kilby and I have been doing a roster preview, different player every Wednesday. We've gone through all 13 scholarship players. This coming Wednesday, it's going to be a Biscuit Boys episode. We're talking about Duwe. We're talking about Creighton. It's going to be lit. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday's show. Keep going, Daht.
Don't forget, too, Jackson. Don't forget about my boy Jackson Watkins.
Yes,
he
Jackson.
He won them Biscuit Boys, too. I put down here Pete calling the guys together. That was a big moment.
Yes.
Armando was just strong, different. I wrote that down. I just want to remind y'all, RJ is different this season, y'all.
Yeah.
RJ, okay. Caleb had an assist to Pete that was nice. That was a nice assist to Pete. His name again right here, Duwe Farris. And that's pretty much it, man. As for Jalen, though, I did want to say something about Jalen. You know, he's sick that he couldn't be out there. You know, right weight room, you know, with the medicine balls and working and getting back, but point in rushing Jalen. And he's a very skilled big. He can shoot. He's inside, outside of Jalen when he touches the floor. But there's no point in rushing him. He came off of a serious injury, and they really just want to work him in slowly and have him ready, come, etc.
Same thing we just said about Leaky. No point in getting him out there for this. Save him. We need him. The front court is not very deep this year, and we need his body, and I cannot wait to see what he brings to the table. All right, folks, we're going to get to your question and answers in just a second, but let me tell you a little bit about Bet Online, which is one of our sponsors here on Locked On. It's the fastest and easiest way to check in on all your betting needs. Find your favorite sports and events at the #1 online source for odds, lines, and games. There's also reviews and news of every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports wagering info. They've got you covered. So head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to learn more about all the trends in action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so let's get into some questions here. First off, one that came in on the chat just a couple minutes ago. Somebody said, "What shirt is that I'm wearing?" We talked about this a little bit earlier, but this is an R. Lamar original. It says, "Welcome to Chapel. Greetings from Chapel Hill." It's got some guy with number 23. I don't know who that is, but I think he might can play basketball. So check out R. Lamar Clothing if you want some great stuff there. All right, so Dot, let me pose some of these to you. This comes from our man Dwayne Spears from In the Heels House. He says, "Who has made the biggest leap from freshman to sophomore year?" And he didn't specify, but let's just keep it to the two sophomores of this year. So between DeMarco and Dontrez, who made the bigger jump this offseason?
From what I saw yesterday, clearly it would have been DeMarco. 4 points. DeMarco had 16. But I like the confidence of Trez.
Yes.
He did only have 4 points, but they were a good 4. Like they were.
Yep.
He made it at the free throw line, pulled up for the jumper, boom. He's very athletic in that Will Shaver mode of trying to figure out how to correctly put his strong with the rest of the squad. Like, am I a 3? Am I a 4? Like, I have the athleticism to get real set of a 3. I think a lot of that between the ears is dealing with Trez.
Yeah.
But once he's going to be super, super, super cool.
Yeah. And I think part of that answer too is that Dontrez was further ahead of DeMarco last year, and so there was like DeMarco just had a higher place to come from where he was at, and Dontrez is just making more incremental jumps, and so I think that's part of that answer as well. I love what you said there, Dot. Next, this is from our man Sid. He says, "I just want you all to speak on RJ Davis and how he's kicked up since that Coach K night in Cameron. He was going crazy yesterday, and I just want that to be highlighted." We've already done that, but no, listen, let's just keep blowing this man up. Let's get him to that Bob Cousy Award you were talking about earlier. Let our man RJ, like, he might be, I'm going to go ahead and say this, might be, because of the role he's going to play, the most indispensable player on this team. Like, they just move along at a different level than when Caleb's running the show, and probably than when Seth's running the show. Do you agree with that, Dot?
I agree 100%. And I even think Caleb likes that. I don't know that for a fact, but I think by RJ running the show and being the decision maker, and Caleb can just be I think Caleb loves that. And I think that you'll see that I can see us really going with a 3-guard, RJ, Caleb, and Seth coming in, and then having Pete and Mondo grabbing all the rebounds. Many different, it's like a Rubik's Cube almost, in the idea that we got sections that we can throw at opposition where it's kind of difficult to game. We can go super, super big. Like, we can go with a huge lineup, like with Caleb and Leaky and Trez or something, or Puff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's everybody on that is like 6'6" and 50. Like, so I don't know, man. Like, I think this team has HD gets to put it all together the way he wants to. I don't think it's going to be a situation where it's going to be Iron Man players will play an entire second half. You know, I think that you got enough guys now that know how Coach HD wants the program to be run. They know what they have to do in practice, and it's guys behind you that are really hungry. Like, if Trez and did on the floor last season, when you got Seth and Tyler back here, like, get to it, Jack. You better get to it. It's a great problem to have.
Absolutely, it is. I love that talk about all the lineup combinations, Dot. Like that 3-guard lineup, like you're playing a team like Baylor, who everyone knows comes with those like insanely talented guards. Like Baylor probably will have the best 3-guard lineup in the country this season. I mean, this is what Scott Drew recruits to. But legitimately, you add Seth Trimble to Caleb and RJ, and we will rival them for the best 3-guard lineup in the nation. Like, take that to the bank. Or we could go huge, like you talked about, all sorts of different combinations. And I just think you're going to be able to tailor to opponents or whatever you need to do, and that will be a great thing. Got a question that came in here from Yo Johnny Boy, and I believe it's showing up on the thread here. Yes, love this. Man, Restream has some great capabilities for us. And Yo Johnny Boy, as you see here, says, do y'all think there is anything Caleb can improve on this season? I've got some ideas on that one, but Daht, what do you think about it?
Just say first the decision making.
Yes.
Just sometimes he can be a bit erratic, but the gift and the curse, man. Like that three-pointer he shot that you put the video on. I think did you put it on Locked on Tar Heels?
I think I put it a bit of everywhere because everyone needed to see it.
Agreed. But that one, when he shot the joint from Franklin Street and any other, and that's a bad shot. But not for Caleb in that moment. Like it was a heat check. He knocked it down. He forced the white team to call a timeout. Like that's Caleb. Gonna also call an ISO on RJ and try to cross over and dribble the ball out of bounds. And the thing about Caleb is his demeanor isn't going to change either way. Like he's going to stare you down.
Yep.
If he has a turnover, he's going to stare you down. You don't have any clue. So the only thing I would say is the decision making. Like I still want him to be aggressive. It's tough for any guard to stay in front of him one-on-one. It's just tough.
Yep.
You got to sit here. You have got.
Yep.
When he goes downhill, he's going to get a bucket, or he's going to go to the free throw line. And I love Caleb. If he can just understand that the way I understand that, don't bail him out by taking a cut or go to the free throw line. That type of stuff.
Yes.
More consistently. Trouble.
Yes. Folks, keep in mind, Caleb, RJ, and Leaky all shot above 80% from the free throw line last year. Let's go there early and often. All right, some more questions from Leon Peace. We've already answered this. Do we know why Leaky didn't play? Load management. We're already talking about that. Michael Jackson posthumously from the grave is asking, woo! Man, how about that song from Free Willy? That was a good one. How will the scrimmage play as a game? Yes, we talked about it. They played to 80 points. Were there refs? Yes, as Daht said, there were ACC refs. So this is a legit game with high-level guys. Michael Jackson says, this is my first viewing. Welcome in, Michael Jackson. We are so glad that you are here. Bruce Wayne, man, we got all sorts of people coming
Batman.
in. How was Pete Nance and Tyler Nichol? We talked about those guys. Daht talked about he loves the leadership Pete Nance brought yesterday, and the shots are going to fall. Stay patient. Tyler Nichol is going to probably struggle to get minutes this year. The wing is loaded. No fault of his own, but he will see some time, and he'll get his opportunities because that's what Coach HD does. He gives you an opportunity. Here's a good one. This comes from CMC Show 22. Where is the full game? To my knowledge, the full game isn't anywhere to be uploaded. I do know that there are Duwe Daht. Oh, yes, Daht. Great plug from you right here. Yes, give us a plug, Daht.
So if you are interested, I do have subscriptions on my Instagram. Many people have this. I do have a $4.99 package. That's like $1 a week to subscribe to my Instagram. Yesterday, I took people behind the scenes, but not only did I do that, I bring the game, and it is on my Instagram right now. But the only way you can see it is if you subscribe to my Instagram, then go to my reels, and you'll be able to watch the entire game in the huddles with the coaches during the timeouts. Armando was calling my subscription pay pretty embarrassing, but all of that is on my Instagram. I am the only place that has in its entirety.
That's right. So make sure you subscribe to that now. And don't think that's just a yesterday thing. No. You know that the in-game arena host and the sixth man of the Tar Heels, he's going to have behind-the-scenes content for you all season long in the lead up to the season. I can only imagine the access you'll get at things like late night. You make sure you subscribe to Daht's Instagram. You know I'm going to be blowing that up for you all season, my brother. That's great. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, here's a great one. This is from Jonathan Fox. This is one of the great guys. Love Jonathan. He says, is Brandon Robinson not working with the team this year? He was at the scrimmage. Do you know any insight on that?
Again, he was at the scrimmage. like you just said, but I don't think he's not working last year. I'm fairly confident that he will be back this season as to the contrary.
Yeah, I wonder here, and this is total guess on my part. I think it's because of what his position is as less of an official entity. Like it is an official entity, but not to the level of the rest of the coaching staff. I wonder if that has something to do with his ability to be there yesterday.
Okay, so now I'm starting to understand. He's asking how was B-Rob able to be there versus and I think you said that correct, Isaac. I don't think he has a position that is, of a better words, as the rest of the staff. Like he's he works with one-on-ones with players and stuff like that, and of course he travels on the staff in that regard. But he isn't.
Yeah. Love that. Great. All right. So a couple more questions here from that were submitted earlier. This is from our friend Heatherly Compton. What a cool name. I always love her name. She says, what was the most unexpected takeaway from the game? What do you think on that one, Dot?
Unexpected takeaway from the game. I will say Duwe. I'm looking down right now on my list. Duwe for sure. And Duwe Farris' story, right? Like Duwe Farris, they had tryouts. For Farris was just a regular student who went and tried out for the basketball team and made. And his story is just so legendary to me. Like I love it so much that when and he had as many points as Trez. You know, like that's big for a guy saying like, and I love Duwe. I think he has a cool name, D-U-W-E Farris. He's a super cool dude. Being with him last night at the football game, and it's his HBCU band and all of the Biscuit Boys. Make sure you talk to them about that. That's on Wednesday. Please ask the Biscuit Boys about their first experience with standing right beside them. They were just, eyes were like, I'm excited at it. Jackson. And it was just a good time, man. But I really like Duwe and the spark. I'm seeing a spark off the bench when the game was sort of like, what are we going to do here? And it was just, I would take Duwe Farris as my most shocking moment from yesterday.
I love that. I'm going to have to go with DeMarco and his 16 points. That came out of nowhere for me. Like Seth scoring 21 points, that's not that surprising to me. Like somebody's got to score a bunch of points to get to 80 in 69. So that's not even that surprising. But DeMarco dropping in 16 has me like, oh. And so speaking of which, we got two other questions to get to, both from our guy Brandon T. One of them is sticking with DeMarco Dunn. Do you think he will carve out a role this year? Man, that's an interesting question for me. Dot, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, because does he have the skill set? Yes, but like how deep can we go 10 deep for real? Like, is that even realistic? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Who's doing that in college? Like, are guys even able to get a real rhythm if we're going 10 deep? Again, it's a good problem to have until it's not, right? And DeMarco, where if he plays the way he played yesterday, not allowed to be sped up, not shots that he think he can hit, but shots that he knows he's going to hit in the flow of the game. Was absolutely, I think he can carve out some playing time. But Caleb and RJ are going to get the ball for sure. But Seth has got to see the floor. Seth and DeMarco to spell RJ and Caleb, like you were saying earlier, Isaac. I can see that. But I think the sophomores from last year, I definitely think they'll see a lot more of the floor. The freshman Jalen, when he gets back, I think he's going to be high volume. But Seth Trimble, that kid, in my opinion, like I'm not a coach. I'm just a six-man, baby. But the way he plays, you just think he's going to see the floor a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And he just the way things shake out. For me, he's going to be fourth on the backcourt depth chart. Obviously, he's not going to be ahead of RJ or Caleb. I think Seth will pass him, and Seth will get the bulk of the backup minutes. And then here's something that we often don't think about when we start projecting minutes. There's only 200 total available minutes to a team in a college basketball game. 5 guys on the court at a time for 40 minutes is 200 minutes. And at some point, you have to keep – yes, we're not going to see as much Iron 5 as we did last year, but it's not going to be a bunch of guys getting a bunch of minutes. And so I would think DeMarco is going to be in that averaging 5 to 6 a game. He'll get in, but it's not going to be anything for me. I don't think it'll be close to double digits minutes played a game. And then the other question from our guy, Brandon T, and this is a great one. Who do y'all think will be the biggest X factor for this team this season?
RJ, man.
Yeah.
I really think it's RJ. I think Mondo. Now again, if you're asking me if we lose, but if one of these players got abducted by alien ship, who could we not afford? I think there's a tie between RJ to have either one of those guys abducted by aliens. I don't want aliens either. However, I think that we can sort of pacify other places if we have. Mondo is just such. He was dominant last year, being even an inch this year, and I didn't feel like that at the end of last. I was like, there's no way Mondo can meet the stats that he did this year. Like he did this had to get the rebounds. But like when you tell me he had 20 rebounds in the scrimmage, it didn't look like he had 20 rebounds. And like, so for him to be able to get rebounds, it's clearly a skill set that he's developed to get to these rebounds. He's not working. He's just getting these, like, it's just having fun with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a putback. Yeah. That's a, like stuff like that. So again, I don't want RJ or Mondo abducted by question.
Yes. For me, just to give a different answer, I'll approach it a little bit differently. I'll say outside of the starting 5, who's going to be my X factor. And for that, I'll go with Puff Johnson. And here's why I say that. To me, if Pete Nance doesn't transfer in, Puff Johnson is your starting 4. He's in that starting lineup. Mm-hmm. I think we started to see a lot more from him down the stretch, including a great performance in the national championship game before he had to come out another illness injury for the Tar Heels in that game. It just, man, everything that could go wrong did down the stretch there. But I really think not only will he, but Carolina needs Puff to take a big leap this year. Is he going to shoot like his brother? Nope. That's just not like, that's not what Puff's. He's going to hit some threes, right. Not to Cam's level though, but he's going to bring so many other things. For me, he's going to be the second best defender behind Leaky on this team. And he just does all those little things that you want in a basketball player that makes Coach Davis trust him innately. Like, I just think Coach believes in him so much that Puff Johnson, I wouldn't be surprised if he has the 6th most minutes on the team behind the starters. So I'll go with him as my X factor.
I like that. I like that as an X factor. I agree with that. I defensively, not an X factor, but when you're talking about defensive guys, Leaky Puff category as well, he's got a lot more confidence this year. And Puff, the same earlier in the show. Let Puff be Puff, man.
Yep.
Don't expect him to be Cam 2.0. Right. He just happens to have a last name of Johnson, but let him enjoy his ride as Puff, Tar Heel, and we'll have a great time with him as a Carolina family.
Absolutely. All right, so Daht, this last question comes from Isaac Schade, and Isaac Schade wants to know, Daht, you told me that it's surreal to be doing things like hanging out, eating dinner with the players, hanging out with Coach Williams a little bit last night. Heading into year 2 of this role that you started last year, and obviously we'll talk about this again and more getting into the season. Can't wait to do that. But what are you looking forward to into reprising this role for round 2?
Just the family, man. A small glimpse of it yesterday in the Smith Center, and it was just awesome just having everybody back and just how much we missed each other and just ready to make this run, man. Just a time for us to meet the women's basketball team, the men's basketball, a little energy in the Smith Center. But then just to kick this thing off, man, we got a lot of Charlotte. We're gonna be in New York. We're gonna be in, I think, Portland. I think.
Yep.
Just the energy from this team is a very confident, but not like everybody has a sour taste in their mouth from not finishing business last year. I remember being in the Smith Center yesterday and just talking to the fans and asking them if they remember and beating Duke. And the cheer from that was just, it gives you goosebumps. I asked them, the Final Four down in New Orleans and beating Duke again. And just the cheering from that, we didn't finish business. So this year is unfinished business, and it starts in the night. And we'll go from there, and we'll just, continue to build wins and continue to build with the program until, March Madness gets here. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, some Nets. I told HD, I said, Houston, we have a problem. And HD said, ooh, I like that.
Maybe that could be the yes. That'd be awesome. That could be like the hashtag for the Carolina basketball Twitter account. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh man, you just got me going on that. I'm so excited. So many great things are ahead. You all better believe Daht and I will be chatting more as we lead up to the season and in the season. Just hearing what he's seeing from his role. It's just a unique role and a unique viewpoint that none of the rest of us have. And so Daht, thank you so much for all your insights, sharing what you get to do with the rest of us. And that just means so much, I know, to so many people. And so let me just on behalf of all of those say, thank you for what you do and how you do it. Before I let you go, I know you got some great stuff. We already talked about subscribing to your Instagram. What else can people check out from you, and where do you want them to find you?
Social media, B.Daht TV. I have everything. I got my 6-man shirts for my Carolina fans. 6-man, make sure you get your 6-man shirt. We got them in white, gray. I'm very, very, very excited because by the time we get, I will have my coloring book ready. 6 from super fan. B.Daht became the 6th man of Carolina basketball. It's about 15 pages, and it just from a child becoming a fan and how I got the position of arena host and how we went last year. So I'm super excited about that. I've been working on that for about 5 or 6 months. So I'm excited. And we're just having a great time. I'm ready to get this national championship, man. Go Heels.
Go Heels. Love that. Love all of that stuff. And coming up on tomorrow's episode of Locked on Tar Heels, you better believe we will be breaking down this first football victory. Daht was there yesterday. There's some great behind-the-scenes footage. I know he had Kelsey Riggs on his IG yesterday. All sorts of good stuff. That was fun to see. Listen, there are things to grow on, but I am so encouraged by what I saw from Drake May, from Amarion Hampton. Just last thing, Daht, and then we're out of here. What did you like that you saw at the game last night?
I like Drake, man. I like Drake just coming out there. And he had some throws that were behind some. What you cannot take away is his athleticism and that dog. Like, I love him. He made some great goals. Josh Downs, of course, he looks like he's going to try to get that Biletnikoff award. Need him to Hampton. Love seeing him in the backfield. But of course, the 336 products. My boy Dilworth. And of course, Trav, those boys. My boy Big Trav finally got in the game. Got a fumble recovery, but they called the quarterback down. So much great product from the 336, and I enjoy seeing those guys. Storm Duck in college football got him an interception last night. It was just a fun time, man. It was a great, electric, and I really, really love the magnifying glass and the spotlight that they, being that I am a product of Winston-Salem State University.
Amen. Absolutely.
They handled with the situation they had with players. They came out there. They were able to compete at a high level. I love the bands coming together and merging
Yes.
and doing the unity. It was just a great for sure. So big shouts to both programs.
Yeah. That's well said, man. And yeah, to FAMU, like to just come in and do what they did, really love that they just took the challenge on, even shorthanded. That quarterback, man, he is impressive. Y'all be watching him. They got a huge matchup next weekend against Primetime and Jackson State. So make sure you tune in to Jackson State and FAMU. Should be fun. Great music from the bands. Don't miss out on that one. Daht, brother, thank you so much for joining. I hope you all have had a great time joining in. And as always, we want to remind you that it's always a great day to be a Tar Heel. Until tomorrow.